Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at the last Kmart in New Jersey, which is also one of only 3 remaining Kmarts in the entire continental United States. This video was filmed on September 5th, 2023 at about 11 a.m., and this store is currently scheduled to close forever on September 30th. I've never been to this particular Kmart before, but once I heard it was closing, I knew I had to make the 3-hour drive to see it. The only other Kmart in driving distance from me is the one in Bridgehampton, New York, and I do plan to get out there someday before it closes, so if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments. So first, here's some brief history about Kmart. Kmart, or SS Kresge's, as it was originally called, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, was founded in 1899, which makes it almost as old as Sears, which was founded in 1892. And surprisingly, they didn't change the name of the store to Kmart until 1962, which coincidentally or not, was just a few months before the first Walmart opened. At its peak, which was around 1994, there were 2,486 Kmarts around the world, and it was the second largest retailer in the US behind Sears until 1990 when it was overtaken by Walmart. However, Kmart hasn't been doing very well for the last 20 years or so. In January 2002, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and closed about 250 stores. They eventually came out of this first bankruptcy, and around 2005, they combined with Sears in an attempt to revitalize the brand. This lasted until about 2018, when the combined Kmart and Sears, known as Sears Holding Corporation by then, declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy again. And since then, the majority of Kmart and Sears locations have closed. And today, like I said earlier, there's only these 3 remaining Kmarts in the US. So now let's take a look around and see what's left of this Kmart. As you can see, pretty much everything is on sale. The discounts seem to range from about 30 to 70% on average from what I saw. And there were a lot of things that were 70% off, which is pretty good. But it looks like it was pretty well picked over, so there wasn't anything really left that I wanted to buy, other than one thing in the entire store, which I'll show later. My main reason for coming out here was to see the store itself, like the actual building and the fixtures that were left. So that'll be a good part of this video. And then, I'll take a look at a few things that were for sale, but again, that's not really the focus of the video. And if this is your hometown Kmart, or you've been here before and you have memories of it, especially from the 70s and 80s, let me know in the comments. I thought it was kind of funny what was left over, like this single box of Mucinex. And I kind of wonder why all this Aleve got left behind, while everything else was sold out. And also antacids. I would think these would have sold because these are pretty expensive, and 40% off is a pretty good deal. Alright, so now it's time for what I consider the good part. Like I said, the reason I came here was really to look at the store and see what fixtures were for sale. But my secondary goal was to see if I could find something to buy that still had the Kmart logo on it. So let's see if there's anything left. They're selling this entire row of shelves for $400, which actually doesn't sound like a bad deal if you have a store, of course. I can't think of any other reason anybody would buy that. It's a little bit too big to fit in my bedroom, so didn't get anything like that. They're asking $35 for this display rack, which is pretty good, I think. Too bad it's just very bland. It doesn't have any company logos on it or brand names or anything, so not too exciting to me. And I think these were probably clothing racks, and I believe they were asking $45 for these. They were asking $75 on these ladders, which I think is a little bit high, in my opinion. And these chairs were $15 a piece, which is not bad. And again, if they just said Kmart on them, I would have picked up at least 1 or 2. And also, a lot of the stuff they were selling seems to have been actual office stuff, so not actually display items or really parts of the store. They were like this. This was somebody's desk. This looks like a desk I would have seen at elementary school back in the 80s. So this is probably from the 60s or 70s, I would guess. It's got 40 bucks on it. And I took a look through the drawers. They didn't even clean it out, which is kind of funny. So you got some old styrofoam cups here. And then all kinds of junk you'd find in your desk at work. I guess they just don't care at this point. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. Thanks. This would almost certainly have been used in the clothing department, and I was looking at these hangers to see if they said Kmart on them or anything like that, and they didn't. And I'm always amazed by how much gunk builds up in these places over the years. Just like at the Christmas tree shops, you know, they move out the shelves and you have all this gunk there, which is obviously from liquid. So where does all this liquid come from? That's what I'd like to know. In the middle of the store, where is all this liquid coming from? It's kind of crazy. This would have been used to display books or magazines, and that would come in handy if you're a collector of, like, you know, magazines or comic books or anything like that. That'd be really good for display. But again, it's just way too big to fit in my car, so. And this was kind of cool. This was used to display Star Magazine and probably the National Enquirer, things like that. So it would have been at the register most likely. I would have loved to take a look around in here, but it says do not enter, so I did not enter, but I was able to get a good peek inside. And that door right there straight across looks like it's covered in mold or mildew. And I'll bet you that's what the rest of this store is going to look like in a few years or so. Assuming they don't move something else in here to replace the Kmart. Here's some file cabinets, which I assume were used in the offices here. And they were empty, so at least they didn't leave behind any confidential information. Which I have seen before in like abandoned building videos where you go in and they have file cabinets like that, completely full of personal information. Which just blows my mind how they are able to get away with that. Down this row they had a lot of smaller things for sale, but again it was mostly like old office equipment. This caught my eye though. This appears to be a new old stock shelving unit. It doesn't appear to have ever been used. It still had the instruction manual, but sadly it didn't say Kmart anywhere on it. This monitor caught my eye just because it's so small. I would guess that's probably maybe a 10 to 12 inch monitor, which is extremely small. You can't usually buy those like in a retail store. I would guess that was probably used at a cash register or some sort of terminal here. And then this table is completely covered in their old security equipment. So I think they've got a DVR there, and there's probably maybe some hard drives in there. I don't know. Hopefully they've wiped that though, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was still some video footage on some of those machines. Now this for a second I was hoping would have said Kmart on it, like the ones I did find at Bed Bath & Beyond, which I'll show in another video. I found some stickers like this, which actually said Bed Bath & Beyond on them, but these are just generic stickers that you'd probably find in any office supply store. Now see the packing tape they're using here? It has Kmart all over it, but I couldn't find any actual rolls of the packing tape. It had already been used. They might have had some before, but it probably got cleaned out. I would assume everything with the Kmart logo on it got cleared out quite a while ago. And these are the signs they would have at the end of each aisle, I believe, saying what items were down that aisle. But again, it doesn't say Kmart on it. If any of these, again, they said Kmart, even in small print or something, I probably would have bought them, but there's no indication anywhere on here that these are from Kmart. I think this is the paper you'd use in a cash register for the receipts, but again, it doesn't say Kmart anywhere on it. It's just generic Avery branded stuff, I think. Here's more of that surveillance and security equipment they had for sale. And the prices really aren't that bad. Just not sure how old that equipment is. It's probably quite a few years old. So here's what I actually did end up buying. This is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles poster. It's double-sided. On the back it's got Dora the Explorer and Paw Patrol. It says copyright 2014 on it, so I guess it's about 9 years old at this point. It's really heavy-duty cardboard, and it's about 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, so it's pretty big. I ended up buying it for $5. I didn't get that on video, though, because I didn't want to go up front with the camera on my chest and potentially get kicked out. So after I left the store, I came back in and bought it. And here's a picture of me holding it just to prove I did buy it. And if anybody here has watched my video on the old Ames, the Ocean State job lot in Southwick, Massachusetts, I'm pretty sure they used the same exact lights as this store, these real thin ones, which you don't see too much anymore, except in older stores. Most modern stores would not have lighting like this. It was so quiet in here that it really felt weird walking around. I don't know if anybody out there has seen like the Backrooms videos on YouTube. This felt very much like something out of the Backrooms, except a little bit dirtier than what you would see on there. But it really gave me that feeling, like I shouldn't be here and something is wrong. It's just too quiet. So now let's take a look at the bathroom. And I do apologize, but I can only look at the men's bathroom. I'm assuming the women's bathroom is pretty much the same. And I'm not really sure what this area would have been right here. I don't know if this would have been like returns or customer service or something like that. And again, don't worry, nobody was in here. This bathroom is much more updated than the one at the Ocean State job lot in Southwick. It looks probably from the 90s or newer, I would guess. And the one at the Ocean State job lot, if you've seen that video, looked like it was probably out of the 60s.
four-way on the other side of the middle bit.
What do you mean? With the machine?
With the forklift.
Yeah, might as well.
And let's take a quick look in the back. It says do not enter, so I didn't go in, but you know, I got a pretty good idea of what's going on back there. They did have quite a few clothes left, and a lot of them were 70% off. So if you are looking for some cheap clothes, again, you have until September 30th of this year to come on out and pick some of this up. Here's the fitting rooms. The one thing I was disappointed about not seeing here was the light from the blue light special. I think they were still doing blue light specials, I believe, and I was hoping to see one of those, but if they were selling those, I'm sure that blue light got sold almost instantaneously. If anybody's not sure what the blue light special is, this is a picture of it. This is their modern incarnation of it. And basically it was a blue light that would be flashing next to something that was on sale, and it was limited time. So if you saw that blue light flashing, you know, you'd come running across the store and try to see what was for sale. And I remember that back in the 80s at the Kmart by my grandmother's, and it was exciting. Everybody would be like, oh my God, the blue light is flashing, and people would literally run to it. And I can't really think of any other stores that do anything like that nowadays. I'm pretty sure this is where the jewelry counter used to be. You can tell just by the layout on the ground there, and also that black display thing there had a name of some jewelry brand on it. I forget what it was. So of course I had to take a look at the toy section, and not surprisingly, most of the good toys, or the toys that people tend to collect, like adults like me would actually collect, like Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, that type of stuff, is pretty much all gone. I'm sure that was cleared out early on in the sales. There you have it. That is the last Kmart in New Jersey. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more store videos and mall videos coming up, as well as flea market videos, of course. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.